We recently took our cameras to the Kennesaw House, home of the Marietta Museum of History, where there was an investigation to see if the building has something other than historical artifacts. The investigative team had members of SPARS, the Southern Paranormal and Anomaly Research Society. The results are in, and as Tom Estrada reports, their findings are unusual to say the least.
It took 13 SPARS investigators 6 hours to produce 63 hours of digitized audio, 72 hours of video, 42 of which had audio, countless digital stills, all of this to investigate the Marietta Museum of History here at the Kennesaw House in Marietta. But what exactly triggered the team to set up camp in this historic setting?
We get phone calls regularly because we are known for being a very historic building in the area. We have a long history. There aren't many buildings in our area that are this old because when Sherman came through, he burned a lot. So this building was built in 1845 as a cotton warehouse, and in 1855 it became a hotel. And of course it was used during the Civil War as a makeshift hospital and morgue. And so a lot of people know that about us, and so that makes us a prime candidate for ghost investigations. And of course over the years there have been stories about just different noises and smells and things that have happened that are very peculiar and can't be explained. And so we receive phone calls all the time, and the timing just worked out right this time to have someone come in and do an investigation. So they called us and we said okay.
Team leader Michael Hendricks explains what is involved in the investigation.
We have multiple teams to try to keep the teams separated because you don't want to have the teams investigate in the same area because you get a lot of noise contamination from one team to another. So like tonight we've got a team on the third floor, team on the first floor, so we have the second floor as a buffer in between them. And then when we investigate the second floor, we keep somebody off the other two floors. And that way you're guaranteed that if you capture anything that it's your team doing it.
With the lights turned off, the teams used 11 video cameras equipped with infrared vision capability. In addition to the cameras, they also had 9 digital audio recorders located throughout the building, recording sounds throughout the night. Rounding out their electronics arsenal were electromagnetic field meters, laser ambient thermometers, and a motion-activated digital camera.
Once again, we're just here to communicate. We'd really like it if you could give us a sign of your presence. Dan and the nice people from the museum have told us a lot of stories. We're just here to try to confirm your presence.
Are you an adult or a child?
What year were you born? Still on the other side of the building.
Jason Coffin.
Flash.
All right, well, while we're here, you might as well try it.
To the left down there, beyond that red light, is a shadow that looked like it was popping in and out of the door and then going up and down, like midway of the door down and then popping back up and in and out. It was really erratic, and that's why we walked down to see if somebody down there might have been moving, casting a shadow. But it was very erratic. It was like it was popping in and out of the door, and then it was going up and down the door frame. I don't know what it is, but I definitely saw something down there.
With all that manpower and equipment, did the teams find anything? Out of all the hours of video the team shot, the only piece of usable evidence was actually captured by accident.
This was actually when we were setting up and we had one of our DVR cameras in here. And of course this is this area over here.
Shooting that way.
Yeah.
Right. And as you can see, everybody's just kind of standing around still talking, everybody's just kind of taking it easy. All the lights are still on, there's no IR on. And that's what we found interesting with this piece, was that even though there's no IR on, what I'm going to show you kind of illuminates and it comes out. Now what I want you to pay attention to is right here behind the young lady. Oops.
I mean infrared.
Right.
Okay.
Right here behind the young lady, you can see.
So
Yeah,
Right.
I see that.
Okay. So I'm going to turn it here so Dan can get a good look at it.
And this is just standard equipment here. You weren't really ready to go.
No, we were actually in the process of setting up when this happened. We weren't. Luckily, Eric, that had set up the DVR system, had already hit record, and had just hit record and had his stuff, and he was checking his angles and everything. I mean, he was still in the middle of setup.
How interesting.
Now, unfortunately, once we got going, we didn't catch anything else on video. Okay. Now, this one's actually one that I really wanted you to hear, because our first impression on this was we thought it was one of our people talking, because it was there and it was clear. And we went to everybody that was in the building at this time, played it for them, said, "Is this your voice?" It didn't sound like our people, but it was so clear we thought it had to be human type thing. So we went around and we confirmed with everybody that it wasn't any of our people that said it, but you'll hear it's actually right down toward this area here.
There was something moving.
Yep, that's exactly what it says. I mean, it's there. You can hear it.
Yeah, it's there.
And it wasn't cold in here that night.
All in all, in addition to the single video clip, the team identified 17 EVPs. Okay, Dan, the verdict's in, at least from SPARS. They've shown you the tapes and played you the audio clips. You were skeptical going in. What do you think now?
Well, I've listened to the tapes, and I've seen the video and listened to the electronic voice prints. Very interesting, but I'm still skeptical. The voice prints, I'm not sure. I really don't know, but it's a power of suggestion there, because they always told me what they were going to say before they said it, and you can hear it. But I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, that one that has that, it sounded like a girl to me saying it's so cold, and I don't know. That was pretty spooky to me.
It was spooky, and there's one that said "get out" very plainly, and I didn't get out. I wasn't worried about it at all. I'm just not into that. I wish I were. No, I don't. I really don't. Just not into it. I don't want to make fun of those people that do, because they're very serious about it. There are a lot of things that I don't understand in this world, but I'm just not into those stories. They did a wonderful job. It was probably the best group we've ever had in here, because they were somewhat skeptical too about what they were doing.
Well, there's definitely something paranormal going on here. It's a great location. We ended up with 17 usable EVPs and one very interesting piece of video evidence. We've turned it all over to Dan and presented it to him, but we want to come back.
What'd you think of this one as compared to others that you've done?
I've been on a few now, and this is definitely the most interesting. This is one that really got the hair on the back of my neck standing up.
I understand you saw something up on the third floor here that kind of piqued your curiosity.
That's exactly what I was just talking about. Yeah, we were up there on the third floor and kept seeing shadows that we couldn't explain. It wasn't hour related, and actually got it with your camera, but it was definitely got my interest up.
If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch?
They can contact us through our website, www.sparsparanormal.com, or they can give me a call direct. My number is 912-844-0249, and we'd be happy to talk to anybody. Come up, do a preliminary interview, check out the location, and if it deems worthy, we'll come up and investigate. We love to do it. It's a great area up here. The history of this place is just amazing.
Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, you've got to admit that the team's findings were a little bit on the unusual side. They'd like to come back in the wintertime when they can turn off the air conditioning and help contain the contaminating noises around here. At the Kennesaw House in Marietta, I'm Tom Estrada for TV 23.
Tom said when the SPARS teams come back to do a follow-up investigation, he'll be right there with them. To find out more about the Marietta Museum of History